guys, Brad Miller from The House, and today on the House Bowling Reviews channel, we are reviewing Robert Mattingly, a straighter player with a little bit more ball speed and a little less rev rate, and we're going to talk about why he has more ball speed and a little less rev rate and what he can do to become a little bit more versatile with his timing. Okay, so Robert Mattingly, let's get a little pause going on there. He says he's about a 210 average bowler. He grew up probably in the 90s and the 2000s, and definitely saw the game from that era, which was a much straighter, more precision, accurate style of game. And then now he has got back into bowling. The pandemic has caused some issues, but he's looking to learn and get a little bit better and more knowledge on the more modern game. So let's really get into it. The one thing I want to talk about in this video is just some details on timing, whether it's late, whether it's early, and then which one promotes certain things. So having late timing, having early timing, they're not bad. You can make each work. Later timing promotes a little bit straighter, more speed dominant style, kind of like a Chris Barnes, and then earlier timing promotes more of a hook, more of a rev rate dominant style. So if we look at Robert here, let's just get a little run through, a little 5-step approach. We'll watch it a couple times. Great balance, balance legs on the ground. The balance arm. Look at that. Look at the balance arm right there. Straight left. His body doesn't move. Great foundation at the line. I can understand why he's a 210 average bowler. It should be a fairly accurate player, especially given the very simple physical game, the later timing. I really kind of respect a game like this. It's not so much of the modern game power player. So Robert, I want to talk about your push away. Then you have a 5-step approach, take 2 steps, and then you push away your ball. So 1, 2, push away. Now, most coaches that you see, they would recommend you pushing out on the 2nd step. And actually, almost all coaches would tell you that a 3rd step push away isn't necessarily a correct thing to do, especially in the modern game. But then you watch a guy like Chris Barnes, and he has a 3rd step push away, and he's got late timing. And it just goes to show you that there's no wrong or right way to go about it. There's just things that promotes, and then an earlier timing game would promote a different kind of thing. So the later timing definitely promotes a little bit straighter. Robert, you're a straighter player. As of right now, the way you're throwing it, it is more of a speed dominant style, more so than a rev rate style. And I'm just assuming, I've spoken to a lot of people over the years that they have concerns with moving left. They have a hard time getting their ball to hook when they move left. They say they don't have the rev rate. It's a pretty big common misconception about hooking the ball, and I had that same misconception for a while, that you think rev rate matters, and to an extent it helps, but the more important aspect in getting a ball to hook is your ball speed. And one of the reasons why, and actually if you've seen this video, as he throws the ball doesn't hook a whole lot. It actually comes up pretty light, and it doesn't seem to read the mid lane very hard. And so when I would say that's probably a pretty natural thing, Robert watching his ball just go a little bit too far down the lane, and that's caused by the late timing. That's caused by the 3rd step push away. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes being a straighter player is great, depending on the certain shot or house that you're bowling in. And I would say I want you to keep your straight playing abilities. You have great balance. You have a lot of fundamental great things about your physical game that allow you to be a more accurate, precision type game. The problem is that style of game is hard to use nowadays. It's not the most common. It seems like guys with power and rev rates seem to come at it a little bit easier with their ability to hook the ball. So if I was working with Robert in person, I would let him know that his physical game is fine. I'm even okay with the 3rd step push away. It's late, but it allows him to play straight, and I like him playing straight. Obviously, that's kind of his core fundamental way of learning the game. But I would talk about what allows him to hook the ball, and I would hope in the near future we can come up with kind of a game plan on how to properly
get more hook out of his bowling ball. That way it creates some more versatility for him. I love the way that he plays straight, and I love his accuracy and his just his position at the foul line. But in order to play in today's game, there's got to be some element of left to right. Standing by the ball return is a very popular place to bowl nowadays. And then from there, you determine how far right you need to get your ball. Some patterns you don't have to get it as far right, but at least being somewhat comfortable and laying the ball down on the left side of the lane can go a really long way. So, and what helps promote that is a little bit earlier of a push away. You kind of just getting it into the swing a little bit earlier. Kind of allows, what happens when you have late timing is your ball's behind your feet, and it causes the ball to kind of speed up. And you end up throwing it a little bit harder. The harder you throw it, the less revs, the harder it is to create revs. The slower you throw it, the easier it is to create revs, because you're giving your ball more time to hook. You're giving your ball more time to rev, and you're giving your body more time to put the revs on it. When you throw it in a slower way, and it's easier to throw it in a slower way with a little bit early timing. So I would challenge Robert to start pushing the ball away a little bit earlier, trying to get that right leg. So his first step is his left foot, small, and then the next step, the right foot. The ball should be kind of in motion with that right foot, and just see where that goes. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, and it's going to feel a little bit awkward, but I want you to notice if it's a little easier to throw the ball slower. Once again, the slower you can throw the ball, the easier it is to hook it. You don't need a high rev rate to hook the ball. You just need your speed to match your revs. And he's not a super high rev guy, Robert, but as long as you get that speed, I'm not a super high rev guy either, but I enjoy throwing the ball slow, which allows me to hook the ball with the guys who are really good at it. He's obviously a little bit more firmer, more direct. So this transition into trying to learn how to throw it a little bit slower and softer is going to be certainly somewhat of a challenging one. But that's what I would change. And just to kind of go through his first step, one step, two step. So his second step is actually on the ground before he even moves his. So I would want the ball to be moving down toward his right foot. As that right foot is touching the lane, the ball should be in motion going down. And that just promotes a little bit more left to right motion, ball motion that you have, a little bit more hook. If the pattern allows you to play straight, or he eventually gets lined up in his house league playing straight, then by all means, do whatever you got to do to play straight and have a little bit more firmer line. But I would recommend learning how to play a little bit more left or right shot. And the first thing I would recommend is earlier timing, and it kind of allows that swing to slow up. It doesn't feel like it's in such a rush to get to the release, which causes less ball speed. So, Robert, I want to thank you, man, and I just want to compliment you on your game and your balance at the line. Look at your right foot. It's still on the approach. Your head doesn't bounce up. Your left arm is in a good position. You're very stable. I'm actually very jealous of you, man, because that's something that I have a hard time, having good balance at the line. So, Robert, man, I really appreciate you. I hope good luck in some of the challenges moving forward with bowling. You're a 210 average guy, man, and I really think you definitely have got the physical capabilities to be a 220 and 230. Once you add in a little bit of versatility, once you add in a little bit slower speed and a little bit more time to get the ball to hook in an earlier way, I think you'll find it much easier to get your average to increase. It's a very nice thing when your ball's reading the lane in the right way and not skidding too much. So anyway, Robert, I really appreciate you, man, for sending your video in. Just good luck, man, working on this stuff. I hope it helps. And keep in touch, and keep us updated.
All right, everyone. Robert Mattingly, thank you, man. Appreciate you sending in your video. I'm very jealous of your balance at the line, man. It's much better than mine. But when I talk about the timing and the third step of your push away, I think it's fine. I think it's cool that you're a little bit different. You're not just like everybody else. Chris Barnes has a late push away. A lot of people have late push aways. It just promotes a certain thing. And so I think you're much better at playing straight because your ball speed, and I would work with you on opening up to some ways that will help you become more versatile, i.e. hooking the ball and playing a little bit more left or right shape. The most important thing you can do when you hook the ball is make sure you give it time. You have to throw it slow enough. Even if you have a high, low rev rate, it doesn't matter. So Robert, thank you again, man. And if you guys would like your video analyzed by a house member, make sure you click the link below and send us your video. It's a lot of fun, and it's cool to see a lot of different styles, and it's cool to talk about a lot of different styles. I think a lot of them are unique, and you can be good in a lot of different ways. So thank you again, Robert, and I'll see you guys later.